Hello everyone, welcome back to a student blog. In this series of Devops training, we'll be discussing about continuous delivery pipeline and also what are the tools we'll be using at each stage of the Devops CDCA pipeline. So in our previous video, we were discussing about the monitoring for DevOps. What is the importance and all stuff. So we'll be also looking at the monitoring tools, all like all what all tools involves in this. So this this is the continuous delivery pipeline where we are able to see. So starting from the developer writing a code, like source code management, then like source code management is nothing but like saving that the code in a shared location where it is accessible, that is Git, which is an distributed uh, visual distributed virtual control system, with version control system. So after that, it will be like build, then it will be packaged. So then it will be deployed to the required like dev environment or test or UAT and pre-prod. So these stage, like testers will test that code, and if something wrong, it will be sent back to the developer, and it once it is fixed, it will be sent to the production. So here, using some tools, automated testing, everything will be like any errors are there, the tools itself, they will identify the error codes and all stuff. So this is a delivery pipeline, and uh, using the Jenkins. This is the diagram where it shows continuous delivery pipeline with Jenkins. So here, same thing but shown in a different way. So going to the next PowerPoint. Here, I'm trying to give information about what all tools will be used in different levels. So at the collaboration level, at the stage collaboration stage, application lifecycle management, we'll be using these tools. So like Jira or Visual Studio or Asana. So these are all tools. We are not using all tools, but we'll be using few tools for the project, okay, for the complete pipeline. So we may use this one, we may use this one, it's like that, okay. So as mentioned here, like communication and chat ops, we'll be using these tools, and knowledge sharing, these tools will be used. So at the build stage, we'll be using the version control systems like Git or GitHub, or like you see bucket, Bitbucket, Gitbucket. So these are all the tools. So CI is continuous integration, like we'll be using Jenkins or Snap. So these are all the tools. So few are paid tools and few are like free tools. So for building the code, like packaging, Maven or Packer, MS Build, these are the tools we'll be using. So out of these, like any tool we'll be using, it's not like we'll be using all tools based on the organization you work. And for database, we'll be using these databases. So here they mentioned very few, but we have a lot of databases which we'll be using. So this is for build stage, and testing stage, we'll be using Selenium, Jasmine. Tons of tools are there, which few are free tools and few are paid tools. So for example, if let's discuss after this. So these are the tools. Maybe we won't be using all these tools, but we'll be using a single tool, one tool, when we learn, so that to complete the complete CDCA pipeline, we'll be using one tool from these. So for building, we'll be using Git. For repository, the code repository will be using Git, and for CI we'll be using Jenkins, and we'll be using Maven or Packer when we build the when we package the code. So and the database will be, it's like that. So we will be using one tool, and we'll be seeing how it works in a real time scenario. Okay, so testing is the testing stage. These are the tools we'll be using, and for deployment, we'll be using Octopus deployment or Elastic Box. So we have tons of tools, but we'll be using only one tool when we do it. These are just for example I'm showing this. And for configuration manager, we'll be using Puppet, Chef, Ansible, Salt Stack, Stack, and Background, Terraform. So like in real time, companies use these tools. Out of these, Puppet, Chef, these are agent based tools. Like client should have an agent, whereas Ansible is a agentless tool. And most of the organizations use most of the they use all of these in some place, or some maybe in their environment. So learning these tools, like adding to your resume, like these tools, if you are very much familiar with Terraform or Chef or Ansible, PowerShell, it's like Puppet, that will give the weightage to your resume. Definitely, few I saw few people, they work only on Terraform also. So learning these tools will automate a lot, like even not in DevOps, but in general infrastructure support. They will help you a lot, making the manual work automated, and even getting down hours of work to just in minutes you can do it the work. So these are very much useful tools in your daily work environment. So we'll discuss, and we will work on one of the tools when we do our labs, definitely. So artifact management, we'll be using Docker Hub, Docker Registry, and JFrog Artifactory. So like this is deployment stages. These are like tools we'll be using. And like running that on infrastructure, like on the servers. This is the last stage where we'll be deploying the code, whether it could be an Amazon, whether it could be on your on-prem Windows boxes, or Azure, like Azure VMs. So it depends on what you use in your environment, on-prem or Google Cloud, Amazon, or Azure. So we'll be deploying, you can see here, cloud infrastructure, cloud IaaS, PaaS. Okay, so for orchestration, we'll be using Docker Swan or Kubernetes, Rancher. So these are all the tools for orchestration and scheduling. So for monitoring, we are discussing about the monitoring on a previous videos, where we'll use all these, means any of the tool, but based on your organization, we'll be using this. So like organizations, if it is a startup, so for a DevOps engineer, like how it goes, if you join an organization, if it is a startup company, so as a startup company, they may go for all free tools. So in that scenario, you need to have a knowledge on free tools in each stage, where generally they will look for budget. So you need to install all free tools and make a pipeline. So you should be very good enough to install the free tools and make the code deliver to the from starting point to ending point. So till from here, collaboration part, from collaboration to deployment on the till the end user access. So like for free tools, few tools may have an paid support, and a few tools they don't have a support. You have to fix on your own and work on that. So if you go for any huge organizations or any multinational companies, They may use free tools and they may use paid tools which have a support, and it will be easy for you. So for example, if you went to a multinational company, so does they really require all this to be used? Create like using the free tools, configuring them, identifying issues, all it's really a little bit painful, but where from places like let me get back to that point in upcoming PowerPoint. So this is another chart which I took it. So same thing: build, test, deploy, run, monitor, manage, and notify. Notify is like anything goes wrong, that will be notified. So here these are the same whatever we shown in that previous presentation, same thing, but it's little bit elaborated here. So you can see here these are the tools we use. I just took it as it was looking very nice. So monitoring, it was expand like for what are used here. I'm sorry. So application, what tool use, and cloud infrastructure, what tools we use. It was mentioned here for logs what we'll use. So for software CDCI pipeline, what all will be used, like GitLab or Azure Devops. It's like it was shown in a better way. That is the reason I thought of sharing this. So this is a one more method, like it shows a single tool collaborating, like used in different stages. So and we are discussing, right? So instead of using all multiple tools and make an CDCA pipeline, so is any other option where no need to install any tools and simply do the DevOps CDCA pipeline? Means we have an option, that is Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps, Azure will provide from planning to monitoring end to end their own tools integrated, ready to use. Okay, so like Azure boards, Azure repository, Azure pipelines. So whatever tools you are seeing here, they're all like same what do you call same methodology, but their own tools integrated, and pretty simple, just ready to use is Azure DevOps. So you may ask, is only Azure have this? Means no, even AWS to have, Amazon Web Service to have this. They have their own proprietary tools where if you see here, AWS code pipeline is somewhat like, it's like comparing that is like Jenkins, like CloudTrail is Datadog. It's like CloudWatch is Datadog. So configuration, AWS config, AWS code deploy, AWS Cloud9. So they have their own methodism, or their own methods to fulfill complete CDCI pipeline to deliver the cloud code from developer to the end application server or web server to the end users. So even same thing with the Google. This is the another AWS cloud, like took it from AWS. So there is an for Google Cloud also we have the same. They have their own tools, and Google DevOps is also there, where they can use using their Google DevOps, so we can complete our CDCA pipeline. So why? So what is the advantage? Means it will be easy for a DevOps engineer, but it's all these are paid versions. So we need to pay for the service they are providing. So you have to pay for Azure DevOps or AWS DevOps or even Google DevOps. So talking about the Kubernetes, it's a orchestration and centralized management for containers. So like Kubernetes, like if it is on-prem, we'll be installing it on our own, and we'll be configuring the Kubernetes on servers, and we'll be orchestrate or centralizedly management the containers. So if it is I just want to give a brief, but on upcoming videos we'll go in depth on each of these. So what you call in Amazon is Elastic Kubernetes Services, and what you call in Azure is Azure Kubernetes Services, and what you call in Google is Google Kubernetes Services. So for example, so these are their own names which they customized, and they build their own Kubernetes services on their cloud. So whenever you are building any microservices in the particular cloud, we will be using these services for Kubernetes. So it's like going forward we'll be discussing on all these components. And for example, you have what do you call, you have deployed your DevOps websites and you on Amazon, and you also have few servers in Azure, and you also have few servers in Google. So you need to push a code, or you need to push an update to a website on. So how can we do that? So you need to log into, like, you need to send the code, log into Amazon and Azure and Google manually. So don't have an option where using a tool can we push the code to all three services? Like, can we use these services using a single tool? Means yes, we do have a tool called Rancher. It's an unified cluster app management. You can see here, using this, so you can manage Kubernetes services in private cloud, public cloud, like Google Kubernetes services, Amazon, DigitalOcean, like even on-prem VMware, vSphere also we can do that. So little bit discussing about Rancher. It's not a free tool, it's a paid tool, but it is a complete software stack for teams adopting containers. It addresses the operational and security challenges of managing Kubernetes clusters across any infrastructure, which providing DevOps team with integrated tool for running centralized workflows or workloads. So as I said, from single console, once you configure, you can handle, or you can manage the multiple clouds in from single console or single interface. So Rancher not only deploys production grade Kubernetes clusters from data center to cloud to the edge, it also unites them with centralized authentication, access control, and observability. So Ranch lets streamline cluster deployment on bare metal, private cloud, public cloud, or even vSphere, and secure them using global security policies. So you can like not only managing them centralized way, but also it will provide the high security policies from hackers, all stuff. So we can use Helm or Rancher application catalogs to deploy and manage applications across any or all these environments, ensuring multiple cluster consistency with a single deployment. So this is about Rancher. So yeah, as I said, DevOps is not a single tool. It's not a single tool. It's like a mixture of, it's a combination of multiple tools. And you may have a tool for security, like it's like that. So you need to know about multiple tools, and we'll be knowing, and we'll be working on these tools in upcoming videos. So as many of the sciences guys, if anyone is there, they know periodic table in chemistry, physics, but we do have a periodic table for DevOps. If you see here, this is the periodic table. So if you go to the Google and type periodic table for DevOps, so you will get this one. And for example, you want to you want to do some deployments. If you click on the deployments in that one, so what all tools can be used for deployment will be highlighted. For example, if I click on deployment, in that website, so it will highlight it, and you will be able to see the you will be able to come to know what are the tools we can use. Okay, as for cloud, if I click on the cloud in that website, it will display all available cloud components and you can use them. So I just thought of sharing this. And yes, you go to the like Google and just type periodic table for DevOps, and the first one which will get, it's a third party, but it's informative. That is the reason I'm sharing this one. So so like automating deployments for Azure repositories can also be done using the Octopus deploy. So that what is Octopus? It's a third-party tool, but we can also, like it is an automated deployment server that makes it easy to automate deployment of ASP.NET web applications, Java applications, and Node.js application, and custom scripts to multiple environments. It is also a tool. Actually, I didn't mention it here, but somehow it came on mind, so I'm just sharing it. So Octopus is one of the tool. So Azure DevOps will be handle the build CI automation part of the process and will work with Octopus deployments. So like here, the deployment part, actually we are using multiple tools. Instead of that, we can also use Octopus from deployments to the deliverables, like to the infrastructure. So let me take this to here. Okay, so in this complete pipeline using the Octopus from deployment, this part from starting from deployments to from here to here, we can use the Octopus. It's a single tool. Using that, we can do the automations of CI. So Octopus setup contains a centralized management server along with tentacle agent that runs on what you call that a target VMs, which deployment will take place. So using the Octopus, agent is installed on the virtual machines or physical server, whatever it may be, the end servers. Like for each dev test, UAT, prod, they will have servers. So it doesn't mean that dev means it's an environment, but in backend servers will be running, whether it is a Windows or a Linux, Ubuntu, whatever it is. So for that, we need to install the Octopus agent, and that is called a tentacle. And once you have an Octopus server deployed, it will be connected, and you will be able to like handle the build and CI automation parts. So that is one of the tool, Octopus. That is also a paid tool, and you can try it for free. So we discussed about a couple of tools today. So coming videos we'll be discussing on we'll be working on each of the tools at different stages, starting from repository like Git, build packing like Packer, Maven, and like each stage what tool will be used, we'll be discussing on that. And we'll be giving a demonstration, we'll be working on the tool. So I will, whenever I work on the tools, I will clearly mention this tool will be I will be mentioning where it will be used. And even Azure, like cloud, so we'll be working on on-prem, deploying the tools on on-prem as well as on the cloud. So as a part of this DevOps, we'll be looking at Azure, complete Azure training. So how to build a VM instance, how to build a VM, how to build a resource group, all stuff, licensing, subscriptions, everything we'll be discussing. As most of the organizations they use Azure or AWS, Google. So we are now maybe like for this course I will be giving an in-depth training on Azure. Later we'll definitely will be going on AWS and Google Cloud. So as a part of this training, we'll be looking at the Azure training. So that's all for this video. I hope now you guys have a better idea about little bit too about the tools used in DevOps. So that's all for this video. I hope this video is informative for you guys, and thanks for watching. Please do subscribe the channel and like the videos, and for any queries you always reach out to me on vstudentblog@gmail.com. Thank you. Bye bye.